y'all, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a full harvest moon yoga wheel video. It is Friday the 13th. The harvest full moon will emerge between today and very early tomorrow morning around midnight. So I thought it would be fun to incorporate the yoga wheel. I had a request for a yoga wheel video a long time ago. I tried recording one. I didn't like how it worked out, so I deleted it and we're starting again. I thought today would be the perfect time to use a yoga wheel, as it is a full circle, just like the full moon. I have my full moon yoga playlist going and I'm excited about this. I'm not going to use a yoga mat today because I feel like sometimes with the carpet, it gets a little challenging with the wheel. But if you are practicing on a hard surface, feel free to grab your mat, roll it out, and we'll get started. So first what we'll do is we'll center with this. Usually I ask that you check out my centering and limbering and sun salutation video first. But today we're gonna do a little bit different, kind of quick little bit of each. So we're gonna go ahead and center, coming onto your mat. And what you can do is bring the soles of the feet together, finding Baddha Konasana, the bound angle. And we're gonna find a little variation of Supta Baddha Konasana here, bringing that yoga wheel to the low back. And we'll just start to recline over that wheel. You can keep your thumbs in that wheel for a little bit of support if you feel unsteady. If you're new to this, that's fine. Or maybe you let the hands come to your sides, maybe the palms turn up. Maybe you just stay here with the chin slightly tucked, or maybe you can elongate over that wheel. Close the eyes here. Take a moment to just come into this space. We have our full harvest moon this evening. And of course, this moon was used many, many, many years ago, before we had our calendars and our cell phones and our TVs to tell us when the full moons were. Farmers used the 9th full moon of the year to signal to them when it was time to harvest their crops, hence harvest moon. Now, for a lot of us, we might not be harvesting literal crops, but you can use this time of year to harvest things before the autumnal equinox, reaping the benefits of your accomplishments, of your achievements, or anything else that might have occurred since the summer solstice. Full moons are cleansing, so maybe today we set an intention for our practice to cleanse our mind and our bodies with this practice. Bringing the attention to the breath, filling up the lungs fully, exhaling completely, staying with the breath. At the bottom of the breath, as it turns into the inhale, noticing the little pause at the top of the breath, and then as it turns into an exhale, noticing the pause, and then the inhale, staying with the inhale as it turns into an exhale. As always, you can tap into your Ujjayi breath. Maybe bringing one hand to the heart, now one hand to the belly, so we can feel the breath in the hands. Inhale, constricting the back of the throat, making that sound. Exhale, constricting the back of the throat, creating that audible sigh. If the eyes are closed, gently flutter them open, bringing the hands to your sides. Go ahead and lift yourself up. Take that wheel out, bring it out to the side. Now normally, we do some limbering here, so I'm going to turn to face you. You can stay wherever you are. After we've centered, we start to slowly wake up the body. So let's keep the feet in Baddha Konasana here, lifting through the spine, taking that yoga wheel, let's roll it out to the side. Straighten it out if you need to. Maybe lift the gaze up towards the left if it's in your right hand. Reach the left arm up to the sky. The knees might come up a little bit. As we lean, that's okay. Try to keep both sits bones onto the mat. Inhale, roll it up through center. If it's more comfortable to find easy seat for you here, you can do that too. This is your practice. This is your time. You don't have to do exactly as I say. If anything doesn't feel right to you, feel free to modify or skip things. Inhaling to lift the torso, exhaling to lean to the side. Inhaling up, exhaling over. Inhale up, let's take that wheel out in front, walking the hands forward. On the exhale, folding. Inhale, lifting that torso gently back up. Take your wheel over to the left. Plant the left hand. Exhale, lean. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lean. Staying with that breath, using that breath to purify the body, continuing on with that cleansing intention today. And then we'll come up. Let's switch the cross of the legs and then walk that wheel back out through center on your exhale, trying to still keep both sits bones onto your mat. You might feel an opening in the shoulders here as well. Inhale, let's roll it up. And then we'll start with our salutations. And I think today maybe we'll do a moon salutation to salute the full harvest moon. So go ahead and come up to standing. Our moon salutations are not as fluid as our sun salutations, in my opinion. Sun salutations, we inhale up, exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift, exhale, fold. Step back to our plank, run through our vinyasa. Come back up to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, exhale, fold. Inhale, up, exhale, fold. And it's this fluid movement, whereas moon salutations are a little bit different. We start, we move through a sequence on one side, and then we do that sequence in reverse, almost like the cycle of the moon. And it's really fun. And maybe we can incorporate our yoga wheel here. So keeping that wheel close by so we can grab onto it when we need to. We're going to start into Tadasana, mountain pose. Feet hip width apart, ground into the feet. You know the proper posture by now. Maybe a slight tuck to that tailbone if you'd like. Hands can come to our side. Close the eyes here. Come back to that intention. Come back to that breath. Inhale, bringing the arms up. Let's bring the hands together, clasp the fingers, release pointer finger and thumb. Reach tall out of the fingers. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhale up through center, exhale, lean to the left. Inhale up through center, release the hands, step the feet wide here. Prepping for our goddess pose, heels in, toes out. Grab onto that wheel, place it under the right foot. And if you're like me and your hips are more internally rotated, you might want that wheel to actually go out to an angle. My feet, pose, do not come out to the sides. That doesn't feel good to me. I bring mine more at an angle. So that's what I'm going to do with this wheel here. If your feet are more out at a 90-degree angle, that's fine. We're going to find that goddess pose with the wheel, bending into the knees, trying to keep the knees behind the toes as best we can. Let's find a variation of this pose here, lifting up, exhale, lower. Inhale, come up, exhale to lower. Inhale, come up, finding a version of our starfish pose, which is the next pose in our moon salutation. Release your wheel, finding starfish. We're going to find Trikonasana, triangle pose. Turn those right toes at a 90-degree angle. Toes face forward, heel straight back. Left toes turn to the left, heel in towards the midline. Tee the arms out, hinge forward. That left hand can come to your wheel if you need a little bit of support here today, or maybe it comes to the shin. Maybe we can reach the mat, just trying to keep the shoulders stacked, the body on one plane. From here we find our pyramid pose. Exhale, the right hand comes down. We frame the foot with the hands, or maybe we come to that wheel. Spin that right foot flat to a 45-degree angle. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. From here, roll that wheel back behind that right shin. The next pose in our salutation is Anjaneyasana, which we'll modify here, keeping that foot on the wheel first. You could stay here, or you can then remove, finding full Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Thinking of the hips scooping down and out. Then we find Skandasana, our side squat. Bring the hands to frame that left foot. Turn the toes towards the front of the room. Squat over that leg. You can come up onto the heel of your right foot, or you can keep that foot flat, toes facing forward as well. Try to send that left heel as close to the mat as you can. It doesn't have to reach. And then that's the end of one half of the moon salutation. That's our cycle. Now we do the same thing in reverse. Inhale, lift the hips, find your squat on the other side. Then we find our low lunge. Plant the hands, turn towards the right, lower the knee. Inhaling up. Sinking the hips just as best you can. Keep the right knee right over the ankle. Grab your wheel, and then we'll inhale, finding that variation here. Take your wheel, bring it out front, finding pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Left foot's at a 45-degree angle. We inhale up, we exhale, hinge forward. Finding Trikonasana, spin that left foot now at a 90-degree angle. We have heel to arch alignment. You can take your wheel, using it for support. You can come to the shin, the ankle, the mat. Grab onto your wheel, inhale up, taking that wheel over to the left foot. We find our starfish pose first, finding your variation of goddess. And then we did a few movements here. Inhaling up to our starfish, exhaling down. So we want to make it equal on both sides if we can. And then staying in our starfish. Then we bring the feet together, finding our Tadasana, sweeping the arms up overhead. Interlace the fingers again. Reach out of the shoulders. Exhale, lean to the left. Inhale up through center. Exhale, lean to the right. Inhaling up through center. Exhale, hands to heart center. Grab onto your wheel. I'm going to turn sideways to show you. You can stay where you are, as always. Now with our wheel, it's a little bit different of a yoga practice. Feel free to skip anything. Feel free to modify anything. We can't always move as fluidly because we're grabbing onto that wheel, setting it off to the side. So just being mindful here. Let's take that wheel under our left foot. Let's find a variation of chair here. Kind of going with what feels right to us today. Hands can always come to heart center. Let's extend that hand forward, flexing through the foot, bringing the arms behind you. Exhale, coming back to chair. Trying to check in with those knees. Make sure that that right foot is strong, that the knees are behind the toes. Inhale, extend. Exhale, lower. Inhale, extend. Exhale, lower. Now from here, take the hands behind you. Find yourself in a high lunge, Ashtachandrasana, rolling that wheel just behind the shin. You might want to readjust it with the hand. That's fine. From here, roll it up. Exhale, step it back. Inhale up, right knee tracks over pinky toes. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Open it up, let's find a warrior two. Flip the front palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, warrior two. And what would a full moon class be without finding our half moon pose? You can take that wheel. Bring it on the outside of the right foot. You can ground into that wheel. Finding half moon. Maybe you can bring the gaze up to the left fingertips. Maybe you can bend the foot, reaching the left hand for the foot, finding full moon. If you're happy here, you can set up for dancer pose, Nadarajasana. You can grab onto the outside of the foot or the inside of the foot. Bring the gaze forward, lifting that right arm off of your wheel, getting that back bend. Keep the heart nice and lifted. See if you can come back to your full moon. Release back to half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Exhale, come back to warrior two. Inhale, straighten the front leg, hinge forward, find your version of triangle pose again. Exhale, lower, find that pyramid pose, just like we did in our moon salutation. Inhale, lift up, release the wheel, plant the hands. You can run through a flow if you'd like. Get your wheel out of the way and lower. Inhaling, finding cobra. Exhaling, finding down dog. And then we'll inhale, stepping the feet up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead, bringing the hands to heart center. This time, we take that wheel under the right foot, finding that chair pose. Bending both knees. Inhaling, extending, flexing the right foot, standing nice and tall. Exhale, lower. One more. And then bringing it behind you, behind that shin, for your high lunge, Chandrasana. And then we inhale, bringing it up. Exhale, stepping it back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhaling up. Exhale back, staying in your high lunge. And then we open it up to our warrior two. I'm going to turn to the other side. Flipping the front palm, inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Finding that half moon pose. You can come to your wheel. Stacking hips, flexing that lifted foot. Reaching the fingertips up to the sky, or they can stay in the back pocket. Maybe you find your full moon. Maybe you can find dancer from here. If you're in dancer, lower back down to your full moon. Release back to half moon. Lower back to warrior two. Heel to arch alignment. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, hinge forward, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Exhale, lower. Finding pyramid, maybe stepping the foot up. Back foot's at a 45-degree angle. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, folding to your edge. Push the wheel out of the way, plant the hands, sweep the right leg back, taking your three-leg flow, regular flow, or meeting in your down dog. Go ahead and drop the knees. Take a child's pose. You can use that wheel, walking the hands out. Or you can just find a regular child's pose, your choice. Inhale, come up. We're going to do a few things on the mat before we transition into our nice mellow seated posture. So, taking that wheel, what I want you to do, we're going to find a plank here, or a modified plank. Take that wheel under your left foot. You can curl the toes like this, or you can bring the top of the foot flat on the mat. Finding your plank pose. Bringing the knee in towards the nose, hover and hold. Exhale, step it back. Try to keep the hips as neutral as you can. Whoop, you may lose your wheel, that's okay. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, back. Inhale it in. Exhale, back. Try to get the shoulders over the wrists. Try to check in with that alignment. Drop the knee. Let's find side plank. Maybe you modify. Maybe you don't. Maybe you want to play around with taking that wheel and stacking that top foot on your wheel. Maybe you bring it long ways, or you flex the foot. Exhale, lower the left hand, finding plank with the wheel on the other foot. This time it's on my right foot. You might need to adjust, you might need to play around. Bring the knee in, exhale, send it back. In and back, in, whoops, and back, in and back. Drop that knee, setting up for your side plank. Maybe we spin that back foot flat first, walking that left foot in front of your wheel, and then lift the hips. You can play around with finding a version of tree in your side plank, Vashisthasana. Exhale, lower the knees, find your child's pose. Inhale, lift the torso. This last thing that we're gonna do may or may not work for you. We're gonna find Bakasana, crow pose. This pose is traditionally done with the full surface area of our hands planted on the mat for our arm balance. You can really challenge yourself by taking that wheel flat on the floor, grabbing onto the wheel. That really decreases that surface area that you have for your balance. So it might not be for you. Play around with it, prep, and if you aren't happy with how that feels, if you don't feel safe, if you don't feel ready, just don't do it. When you're done playing, find a nice easy seat. Bring that wheel out in front and just roll it out again. Stack the right hand on top of the left, fold forward. Slowing everything down. Inhale, coming up. From here, let's take the wheel to the side. So it's on my left side. We're gonna find a little side opener here, coming onto bringing the left hip under the wheel. And we're just gonna start to recline the ribs over the wheel. Maybe you send that left arm out. Maybe you reach the right arm over, or maybe you wrap it behind the low back. You can also extend the legs long, getting a little more intensity here. Maybe you plant that forearm if it reaches. You can reach the right arm up and over, feeling that stretch really through the entire side body. Exhale, lower, bend the knees if they're not already. Bring that wheel to the other side. Bend the knees, bring it to the right hip. Fold over the side of this. Maybe the legs extend long, maybe not today. And come back down to the mat or to the floor. So the last thing I like to do with my wheel is I like to use it almost like people use foam rollers on their back to roll up and down the spine to crack the back. So what you're going to do is bring your wheel to the base of the spine again. This time soles of the feet are going to plant flat on the floor. Bring your thumbs to the base of that wheel. We want to protect the spine. We're going to lift the hips slowly. Oh, I just heard a crack. Using your exhale to roll down the spine. And again, if you don't feel safe, don't do this. Using the feet to help roll you forwards and backwards. And then lower the hips. Now let's take a little Shavasana here. Bringing that wheel back to the back. This time extend the feet long. This is almost like a supported fish pose. But instead of bringing the feet down and lifting the hips, we're going to keep the hips low. Let the feet splay out like you're in Shavasana. Maybe you bring the hands one to the heart, one to the belly again. Close the eyes if you want to let the head hang back. Let it. Come back to that intention one more time before releasing everything for your Shavasana. We don't just set intentions for our yoga practice, we set intentions for life. Thinking about that intention of cleansing. Maybe there's a room in the house that holds a lot of clutter and we need to let go of things that no longer serve us this season. Or maybe you need to clean the 25 water bottles out of your car. Or maybe you don't have any physical clutter, but maybe there's some emotional clutter. The harvest moon this year is said to be a sensitive moon that might trigger some unresolved emotions. And I invite you, if it's comfortable or comfortable enough, to sit with those emotions. It's not easy. Our society prides itself on not showing feelings, tucking everything under the rug, hiding it, being strong. But there's a sense of strength in dealing with emotions and not letting them fester. It's okay to have feelings. It's okay to need to deal with things from time to time. It's okay to not be okay. And as you settle in for your final moments of rest, feeling that sense of calm washed over the body. And as you settle in, I leave you with my mantra. I invite you to sit here as long as is comfortable. I invite you to meditate for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. I wish happiness and freedom to all living things, and may the words, thoughts, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to happiness and freedom for all. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.